Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 8 of Minecraft Castles and Cities. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Medina, which is this desert city on this swampy lake here. This was originally a village transformation, so this is technically a plains biome. It was a plains village that was here, but I scrapped the whole thing and basically rebuilt it from scratch. And I think it's definitely better for it. This whole little river bit is custom. Everything you see here is custom. Spoilers for the end of the video. But let's start from the beginning of the city. So, coming up from the swamp here, the first thing you see in the city is not actually like within the walls. It's this vineyard, Corvo Bianco, that is a reference to The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine DLC, if you know what that is. And on the outskirts here we have, so there's a vineyard, there is a stables with camels, llamas, donkeys, all sorts of good stuff. And there is a shepherd over there. Now coming inside the city, I had originally built this when pots were supposed to be added to Minecraft, and then they weren't for a year, and now they are. So the whole thing about this city is clay pots and pottery. Coming into the city though, we can see that we're now on Main Street. So we have blacksmith, this is a guardhouse. Full of guards, of course. And over here we have a bakery. And we can actually come down here through this little alleyway to see that the baker has his own little backyard that is connected to the blacksmiths. So they both have work areas, and this goes up to both houses. So a little living space here and another living space here. And something I wanted to do with Medina is make it really packed. And there's no better way to see that than by going into the apartments. So there's a lot of apartments in Medina that are basically all these little stacked buildings that share roofs and floors and stuff. And we can see that some of the layers are even very loud cats going on. Some of the layers are even filled with little farms and stuff, but for the most part, let me turn that one down. For the most part though, it's just these little houses. And I say little because they're all one room, and that's kind of a symptom of trying to fit them all into this apartment style. But I think it works out really well. And a lot of these have really a lot of character. So one thing for Medina is that a lot of these windows have like tapestries hanging out the windows. And a lot of them have these rooftop garden areas, these little so you find a lot of these like table, chairs, a couple plants and stuff. And some of these are even connected. So, oops. So over here, this one is for a painter, and he is painting the lake over there. And it's connected to this one, or these two. So this one is a farm, and this one is a chill area. And you can see it is pretty nice. You can imagine the smell of the water and the smell of the flowers and stuff. Go down, we have another courtyard. And it really does give you this like cramped feeling. You can see from the shadows that the walls have this kind of Roman aqueduct style. It's a really unique part of Medina. It does have walls, but they're not super defensible. Whoops, I get in there, stay. Some of these courtyards are being used for animal husbandry. So this one has cows because it is behind the butcher. And that actually brings us out to here, which is the circle of the sun, basically, is what I call it. So we have a really nice use of glazed terracotta here, and a statue in the middle representing life, because it's holding a cactus. And we can see that there's a fountain which is being fed by this aqueduct. So following the aqueduct all the way around, see there are places where it branches off. Like this part of the aqueduct is being used for a farm. Here, someone is doing their laundry. And following it all the way here, we can see that there is this huge mechanism on the side of the city that is pulling up water from the lake of fresh water. And it's being turned by this big water wheel. I think that's really cool. This is only a really small dock. There's no big ships here, but you can go out onto the water and fish. And this whole river part is essentially supposed to be like really muddy, slow-moving water, which I'll show you on the other side. Coming back into the city, we've explored that half, which is like the apartments, but this half is where the rich people in Medina live. Medina doesn't have a lord. It has kind of these rich families. And you can see they have, like these really nice floors. You can imagine it's pretty intricate tile work. Private garden. If we come up here, instead of these kind of one-room cramped apartments, you can see that there are bedrooms and hallways. There are indoor plants, which require a lot of water, so yeah. And I did come back in and add new pots, but the city's also full of the old pots. And the old pots are basically a flower pot on top of a block of clay. I think they still look pretty good, so I left most of them intact. See some more down there. This is another big old house that we're going to take a look at. This one's on a diagonal. Always difficult. So, a little bit empty, but the whole city does have interiors, though. Oops. Even the houses that are a bit more empty, like that little room that we saw there. And on this side, we can ignore all that. On this side here, we have a bathhouse, a Naba's bathhouse. So one of the things I wanted to stress with this city is the vibe that it's really hot and people like to take the time to relax. So the vibe that I was stressing with my other city that I showed off was Tashaka, where I wanted to bring in a lot of plants and life and try to make it really colorful. Where here the object is essentially to make it not so much colorful, but more relaxing. There's no darkness, it's all lights and lanterns everywhere. It's this pretty nice kind of chill, laid back vibe for the whole place. You see that there's some chili peppers. This is a technique that I was inspired by Westeros Craft to do. They have their own kind of block for that, but here I just did it with the nether kind of roots. This is a general store. That's gonna about do it for the main city. But one of the cool things about Medina is that there is a second kind of smaller city just outside. So this is like the real city of Medina, and then if we come down here, we see that this is where all the potters live. Potter as in people who make pots, not Harry Potter. So they have kind of shabbier housing. There's plenty of pots everywhere, and if we come across the river here, we can see where they are excavating out all the mud. You can see that they're draining it with buckets and stuff, and then they're throwing it all in these kilns. So you take the fire, you feed it. Sorry, you take the wood, you feed it into the fire down here, and then you can bake all this clay and make it into pots. There's a few of these houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's enough. And here you can see one that's a bit more integrated with the walls. So trying to kind of tie it into the build as a whole. This is a pretty low house. So that's about it for the main city. A couple last things I want to show you is over here we have the winery that I showed you the other side of before. So you saw that there are, whoops, goodness. There's this huge vineyard over here just outside the city. And over here, they're making wine. So this is the winery itself. This is where they're squishing down all the grapes. This is coral. There's water underneath to keep it alive. And here you can see one where it's being squished down a bit more. Up here is just a storage area, as well as a little tasting place. Whoops. And if we come down here, this is the proper storage. So they roll the barrels down this side, and you can walk down the other side to give wine to the people who are here, and they are, drinking and stuff. That's about it for the vineyard. And the last thing I want to show you is the dragon. So I had built this pyramid out kind of in the middle of nowhere, and because I wanted this whole world to be really walkable, I needed to fit something in the middle of this path. So I decided to make it this huge dragon that had died in the desert, and now it's just another stop along this pilgrimage path to the temples over there. And you can see that there's some supports just to make sure that it doesn't fall down and crush anyone on the off chance. But that is about going to do it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, maybe stick around for episode 9. No idea what we're going to do for that one, but it'll be interesting, promise. And that's going to do it for today, guys. So yeah, see ya.